Hey friends, I hope you're well today. I have a special treat for you today. I want to expose you to another podcast that I think you will really enjoy, especially if you were involved in work outside your home, or even, I guess, work in your home if you're working from home during these crazy times we're in. And it's called Follower of One. It's hosted by a friend of mine, Mike Henry Jr., and he is aiming to help people who are in the marketplace make a difference in the marketplace. That's his sole focus. And today I want to just share with you a bonus episode, one of his episodes in its entirety. It's another podcast that's like The Morning Mindset in that it's short, about 5 minutes long, comes out Monday through Friday. And then there are Saturday episodes as well that are longer. They're like interviews with people who are in the marketplace and telling the story of what God's doing in their work through their efforts. Those are very exciting and encouraging episodes that I know you'll love. As well, in this episode that you're about to hear, Mike references a marketplace mission trip. And this is very different than a mission trip you might have in mind where you go to a foreign country. This has to do with being on mission where you are. You don't have to spend any money to do it. You don't have to go outside the four walls of your own company to do it. Yet you can more intentionally be engaged in doing a project together with other believers and come together in a context of support to share what God does through your efforts together. It's a very encouraging idea, and I think you'll love it. Okay, so I'm going to play for you now a full episode of the Daily Follower of One podcast, and I encourage you to subscribe to Follower of One. You'll find the links for how to do that in the episode description on this audio in your podcast player or app.
Hey, it's Mike Henry with Follower of One. Today's passage is Psalm 37, 7 and 8 about being peaceful. But before I go into that, real quick, I want to remind you that today is the last day, for all intents and purposes, it's the last day practically to sign up for the Marketplace Mission Trip. iWorkForHim.com, Jim and Martha Brangenberg, and I are both promoting this mission trip so that we can have a large group of people take part in it, so that we can also share one another's experiences about how God uses us in our workplace. Check it out at marketplacemissiontrip.com. There's zero cost. You get to do your job. Everything remains the same, but you have a daily email for 2 weeks that will coach you and walk you through walking with Christ at work. So check it out, marketplacemissiontrip.com, followerofone.org, or iworkforhim.com. Thank you. Psalm 37, verses 7 and 8. I'm reading from the New International Version. Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for him. Do not fret when men succeed in their ways, when they carry out their wicked schemes. Refrain from anger and turn from wrath. Do not fret, it leads only to evil. When I was reading this passage, I was struck by how the word fret was used. It's used in almost every translation. So I did a little research, and I'm not a biblical scholar by any means, but I think about how these things apply, especially to our work situation. Being still before the Lord and do not fret are two different Hebrew words. So is refrain from anger, that reference to anger, that's another Hebrew word. The anger word actually is a reference to flaring your nostrils, whereas this word that is translated do not fret by almost every translation that I could find, it's a word that means don't simmer. So it's actually negating the word simmer or cook or get hot. The references seem to be that anger is about flaring your nostrils. Don't flare your nostrils and don't burn with something going on the inside. So I see the anger as being an external visibility to your wrath or to your disappointment, to what's going on in your workplace. I get tense and I flare my nostrils. I remember my dad used to flare his nostrils when he got mad, and all of us would think about that as kids while that was going on. The simmering is what I would do when I was powerless. When I'm powerless, I'm not active in my anger. When I believe that I have the power, I can blow up. I can lose my temper. But when I don't believe I have any power, when I'm like in with my bosses or whatever, or I'm reacting to something with a big customer, then I control my temper and everything becomes passive. It becomes a little more internal instead of external. And I believe what this is saying here is externally or internally, do not let this fear of your circumstances or this challenge with your situation overtake you. The peace of Christ is this constant reminder, being still before the Lord and waiting patiently for Him. Those who hope on the Lord will inherit the land. At the end of verse 9, it says, all these things that we're being reminded that if we take a minute and trust God and remember who He is and remember how powerful He is and wait patiently for Him, we can turn off all of this anger and all of this stress, all of this tension and being wound up, worry, stewing over things. We can turn all of that off and we glorify God. And so today I want to challenge you to glorify God by relaxing, by trusting Him to act in your circumstances. Don't take matters into your own hands unless you feel that's exactly what God's calling you to do. Trust Him and watch Him work, because those who hope in the Lord will inherit the land, it says in verse 9. Thank you for being a follower of One. Check out marketplacemissiontrip.com and sign up and go with us on this Marketplace Mission Trip. Thank you so much for being a minister in your workplace. We are grateful for the difference that you make in your community and in the lives of your friends.